right. Let's go, let's go, let's go. My apologies for being in this beat a little late. But yeah, we have all types of problems right now. Just crazy. Being crazy right now. Y'all come on in. Come on in. Crazy. Crazy right now. All right, so we up in here, y'all. We in here. Welcome back. Welcome back. Um, Apologies for being in here so late, man. I've been trying to get everything set up, and it seemed like right as I was trying to get everything set up, time just started going real fast. But in today's episode, we're talking with you guys for Tuesday this month. We have a conversation that we would like to talk with the ladies about because we're looking at a very special month for the ladies this month. It is National Women's Month. And in National Women's Month, we like to find a woman of clarity who is thinking about the accomplishments that women have come across over the years, including, anything that could spark your mind's interest to come on to the show and talk about. So we have it open for you. Today's
Motivation on a Monday, topics to try on a Tuesday, new wave music.
Oh man, that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. Especially when the video clip that I found didn't have that on it. That's so amazing. I love it. Especially when that was not what I was looking for. Let's see.
Stuck in the ghetto, I don't like this. Look at me again and I might flip. Watching out my window with a tight fist. I just wanna run up on a druggie till his life ends. With a knife to his back, then I...
All right. I can see now that we're not going to have the video clip that I tried to put in. But tonight's topic Tuesday is about the ladies. We want to know a topic that interests the ladies on this Women's Month. Give me one topic you would like to talk about, and we will put it on display. As a matter of fact, while we're talking about displaying things, I'm going to post in this comment so you guys can join the conversation. I keep forgetting to do that these days. That excuse. You know, realize that's not a fair. Got to be crazy with it. I just don't. Right now, I've been having one of the craziest issues. This device being what it is, doing what it wants. Like right now, I'm actually fighting with a whole nother device right now that shouldn't be fighting with me, but of course, it's the one thing that's giving me the most problems. So much. So much. Okay. So weird. So weird. Like I notice when I get on here, every time I want to do something, it always gives me an option to do something else. Like I never asked for it. It just does it. Weird. Like I know you guys are pretty much dealing with technology on a regular basis. What I've noticed is the improprieties when it comes to certain tech issues. You know what I mean? It's like some of this stuff is just self-explanatory, but it literally does it on random accounts. But it's not like you can say or do anything about it. Yeah, it's like fuck you, buddy. I don't care what you say. It just does what it wants. But I don't know. I just don't. I don't know what to say about it. All I know that some of this stuff sometimes gets to be a point of like aggravation beyond belief. It's like almost like a stated a statement that I heard earlier today. You ain't cooking, get out of the kitchen. I mean, I like that. Makes sense. But then when we talk about the fact of like just people talking crazy shit and not being accountable or wanting to be accountable for what they said or done. You know, I recently just overheard that the judge in this case that was going on here last year, I think it was, where an individual shot a young lady in a car who was just trying to find a party that was in the local area. This man came out of his home and fired into the car and killed the young lady. And the judge said, you had zero empathy for this case. You totally disregarded what your lawyers tried to give you insight on to help you maybe even lessen your charges. But with your malice of jumping into the courtroom and making a joke about it is why he got sentenced. But in many cases, it was also the fact that he was charged with second degree murder. But I don't know, like we look at this shit and in many cases, this guy, unlike many other people in this situation, would have probably been saying to himself, man, this is not looking good for me. I might need to be as timid as a deer in the street. No. This guy decided he was just going to say whatever he fucking wanted. Not only did he make a joke about the situation, but he also decided he was going to mention that after the case and all goes well, he was going to remodel his house and take up motorsports. Like, do you expect to hear type of shit like that? Especially when you're talking to somebody who's facing second-degree murder. That shit is crazy in itself. Yeah. I don't know about that, y'all. Some people just ain't in their right mind and have a lot more at their fingertips than they think. It's kind of odd. And to me, it's kind of weird, but you know what I mean? It's just the fact that people with all this privilege and resources, most people have a hard time scratching the surface of some of this stuff, and these folks is coming out with abundance. Oh yeah, I spent my money on brand new gun. You're not a hunter. It's not a necessary piece of hardware to make your day. I don't see why. I'm sorry. Call me what you want, but I was never gassed up by the concept of a gun. I'm sorry. I grew up in the era where people put their hands up and they fought. If you got a problem, put your hands up. This is what it is. And while y'all think about a topic for Women's Month that we could talk about today, I'm just gonna drive you in with some of this.
Take off.
Official, about to take off like a
Take
missile.
off. When we about to take off. Yeah, it's official, about to take off like a missile. You know that those are the clicks you be televised that we taking off, flying hella high. Ain't nobody else said it the way we glide. We like pepper spray all in your eye. Check the way that we flow it, it's synthesized. All on the beat till it minimize. Ain't nobody got time for you petty guys. We just shake it off, call it petty wise. Yeah, I'm not gon' play with it, I'm just gon' come in peace. Known to take over the party, don't hand me Bacardi, cause I might just turn to a beast. Whoa, yeah, I'm not gon' say that you can't come and party with me, but know that these niggas is phony, so don't get me started when it comes to poly with weed. Yeah, man, we don't like popping no pimples, we ain't got time for no issues. We gon' just hop on this beat like a missile, creep on to come up to get you. The takeoff is real, so call it official. You can put away your pistols, cause we got some pistols, fucking some missiles that'll quickly resolve issues. Take off. You know it's real to take off. Take off. You know it's about to take off. Take off. You know it's real to take off.
Taking off like a missile, off like a sick day, off like minimum wage. Taking off like a pistol, off like a holiday, off like a nigga in a rage. I got a lot of deliver, we never give up. Taking this shit to the top, never taking it easy, never will we fly. Leaving competitors with a loss. Get back like a skinny Mac, niggas in the back on the attack and smoking on a fat sack. Got the gap black as I lean back, pass me another beer. We laughing at the hood rats, me and my dog, we gotta maintain my nigga the same no matter where you go from shit. Player hate a song, say man dog, the player that carry the riches over true bitch. Nigga do this is out the dick that don't fuck with the dojo clique. If you really wanna take it to another level, it whatever break your ass down like a toothpick. And the nigga that they kick it with, in the head they be sicking me down with the petty shit. And the grace is deep, what you read for, fucking with a nigga with a 9 and 2 clips, don't trip. Nigga better catch a grip. Do you really let the 3-letter words rip? Blast your ass, put them in the past into the more with it by the back toe tag and the zipper zip. Nigga can't fuck with this shit here, not down here. Man, this dojo shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Shit, who shall we feel, man? Name one of you motherfuckers, man. Shit, we competitors. Let's go. We here now. Take off.
It's habitual. I don't know, y'all. But I mean, we think about so many different things. Like throughout the day, myself, even like I went on a couple errands this morning. On my way to one of my locations, I was in the lobby and some people in the lobby talking. But it was actually something on the television. Family Matters was on. Okay. So I come in speaking. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? I don't walk into these establishments very often. So when I do come in, I'm a favorable face. I happen to be one of those people that when they see me in the building, they, oh my God, all smiles and everything. Well, today just seemed like it was just not that day. So I come in and I'm sitting down. And as I'm sitting, one of the people in the lobby area just decided, hey, what's going on with you, man? Long time no see. Oh, what's up, brother? How you been? How you been? I'm glad to hear you. Glad to see you. Even though I can't see shit. You know. And he continued with a add-in conversation. We were just, across the hall from each other, basically talking. Didn't seem like it was a large crowd in the room. I mean, myself personally, I can't see, so I'm not gonna all add it in. But what I did notice is the one disgruntled person who decided they couldn't take the mess, whatever that was. And a simple conversation between people who knew each other turned into a personal conversation surrounding the rest of the individuals in the room over one person that was not favored, I should say. And it's crazy when you think about it because me and this person were really talking and having a pretty positive conversation, just basically making the statement of phones are too expensive. Why the hell do we have to pay $400 and $500, $1,200 even for a phone? And that doesn't include the service you get that you have to have on the phone in order for the phone to do what you need it to do. That's an extra 200, you know. Never mind the fact that the actual cost of the phone is half of the average human being's rent in America. And I mean, when I say half, I mean that's like a third. Most of the people in America today have a rent of about $850 to $9 and up $100 a month. Okay, this is this ain't small pennies. It's not a piece of somebody's monthly income. Excuse me, y'all. Yeah. Whoa. Fucking acid reflux is crazy. But it's not any of these things. It is simply a cornering place for most individuals who are low income to be shut out. I mean, shoved out, completely tossed to the elements of the world outside. And I don't think anybody else is really paying too much attention to this. But while we grab as much attention as we can, this is something I feel like we should be talking about. But for that matter, I want to invite you to bring in a conversation where we have found that women can take up the mantle. And this is something that I've seen possible. It has happened in our lifetime. We are witnessing it currently in our administration today. Some of the greatest names alive today are making history as we speak as some of the great women that we should know in American history. We have established the gender barrier with women in just the last few years. With the fact that we have more women in elected office, more women on the Supreme Court or in any courts at this point. The fact that more women in politics are boisterous and have something that everyone can learn from. I don't know what else we can think on here that would be more fabulous than this. We literally have the very first female vice president. This was thought to never be completed by a woman. You look back even in presidential history, Americans' presidential history is constructed of white men. We broke the barrier in the US with Obama, even though if we look back before the United States formed the Union, we did have several, but those weren't considered or even acknowledged. But when you think about that and you think about the fact that the history that is being pushed aside and often told to be forgotten, especially now in this day and age, it's unreal when you think about the fact that I can remember growing up and reading about civil rights leaders. I remember growing up and reading about just people who played a pivotal role in Black history, which is also considered Americans' history, due to the fact that regardless of how we got here, we ended up becoming tools to invent and create the world around us in this country as we know it today. And there were women involved in that too. So it's just a little bit of a distortion for me when you sit back and analyze the specifics of specialties that women have done, been involved in, or just taking the initiative when no one else did. Women had to fight for their own right to vote or be counted in a vote. And now look at that. If you pay attention to your civics when you watch the news, you hear women are the largest voting bloc in America. They vote systematically, religiously, because it's the thing to do. And because in this day and age now, with a Supreme Court that has struck down 50 plus years of work that women put in for their own autonomy right. We have a Supreme Court that managed to destroy an entire basis in less than a month. I mean, even today, women are fighting the indifferences that are coming out of nowhere, being treated, just constantly being treated like stepping stools. That's the word I can think of. It does. When you think about the fact that we have a primary going on, the elections are coming closer and closer. And in this year, I haven't noticed anything significant other than the fact that we have two opposing people who aren't on the favorites list, not looking too good on either side. And just the fact that we who actually can see the shit, the storm has decided to get thicker with the fact that we just heard from the Supreme Court's ruling on whether or not an insurrectionist can stay on the ballot, even though 3 other states said no. The Supreme Court, with the final ruling, and just so you know this, the Supreme Court is now under a 5-3, or no, 6-3 conservative rule. Meaning, if you are a Republican, if you are someone who thinks of yourself as conservative, this should be your field day right now. Your best friend is about to get a chance to go back to the White House for a free, fun 4-year field day. Because you already know, many of you who are clouded in the deceitful disinformation lies think that most black people are rooting for this man to get back into office. That's simply just not true. I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm tired of hearing about his ass and I wish they would hurry up and throw him in jail. But at this point right now, it's looking like we're gonna have to deal with him another few more months, at least until we get enough people considering the options that we have. We have to understand that we are dealing with a situation where it's not gonna be in our best interest if we go with the one side on the right. I'm sorry. This is the one time in my life where I feel like, regardless of what the situation is, the last thing we should do is let this guy who told us that we should nuke a tornado. Don't think that's a smart idea. Don't think he would be a smart choice. And I mean, let's be honest. They've interrogated every Hunter, every Biden in the family that's still alive, and they haven't found anything. Nothing they can go touting about it because everything they keep saying is a lie. They want everyone that believes the lie to fall in line because this is all a fucking game. Nobody's seen that they were literally shooting down a offer to put a bipartisan border deal together because their friend decided to tell everybody not to go for the border deal that they've been talking about for the last 8 years. It was such a problem that Obama couldn't do it. Trump didn't think to do it in the 4 years he was elected. And now it's such a failed attempt that we keep hearing about it from Biden opposing camp. I'm only talking about this mainly because of the simple fact that we are getting close to an election year, and I'm hearing my black brothers and sisters are looking to vote for this arrogant so and so who can't keep his Johnson in his pants, has this thing where he likes to grab chicks by the crotch, and you guys are loving this. I never understood this about humanity. I grew up in a circle of kids that all wanted to be famous and fashionable in all kind of ways that liberal young kids who don't have a care about what's going on in life do. But we didn't have that. We lived in a neighborhood known by many as the motherfucking hood. So in that case of senses, my thought process was different because I knew where I was at. And regardless of the situation, my parents, my family weren't going to abandon the morals of teaching good values in order to make a couple extra dollars. You know what I mean? At best, there was the occasional, we're going to run them numbers to see if we could get lucky. That's about it, though. Ain't nobody selling drugs. Ain't nobody getting no guns and talking about robbing nobody. And we was poor and poor. But in this day and age, the year 2024 has shown me some shit. Things that I could never have seen with my real eyes. But because I've had time to sit down and listen to everybody around me, I hear it. And it's clear. I just don't understand the fascination with with wanting to have a house full of guns. Everybody's so scared of apocalypse, famine, and wars, yet no one is thinking in regard of how to protect, how to prevent, and how to keep out things that can have a negative impact on us. And I mean, when you look at the fact that one party wants to accuse someone of being wrong when they haven't done anything wrong, and the other party is trying to convict someone who obviously is favored by the other party, and no one is trying to call the elephant in the room. And that's the weirdest part about it to me, because there's a situation that people keep seeming to elude themselves away from, especially when we think about the man on the right. Most of the things that we say that he credited himself for were things that if he didn't have a majority Democratic House, majority Democratic Senate, none of that would have happened. Not to mention, when he did have that, he decided his best approach to the administration was to give all billionaires the biggest tax cut they've ever seen. How does that work for people like me and you? I'm not saying I'm middle class. I'm below that. Consumer worker. None of that worked for us. Not even the middle class. That was strictly for corporations, businesses, super businesses, they call them. Big businesses in government is what they like to call it. And this is the thing I'm talking about. We've been going through these ups and downs like this for years, in and out. Every president, and it's just not suited to us anymore. It's time for us to start paying attention and actually start taking action on these things that these people in elected offices are doing. Because these are the people that are tampering with our lives, writing legislations that are slowly killing people day after day. Think about how many women have actually been killed after being told that they are not allowed to abort the child that is actually killing them to have. Or to hear that a woman is being sentenced to a life in prison because she had a miscarriage. The most natural thing that happens to a woman that men can never anticipate because they don't deal with it. I just don't understand that. When you realize that this country was built on the morals of white men, white land owning men, not a single person like me or women were included in that constitution. And then you see evidence of this. And this is the craziest thing about it for me, y'all. You see evidence of this because how quickly the Supreme Court decided to shoot down the Roe versus Wade, which was holding up women's rights for over 50 years. It don't make sense. We realize that, people have a tendency to take things too far. And I hope, it is my hope, that in this year, not only does that show itself, but that we take it and understand this is our lives at risk. I don't like to be the person that harps on a lot of other people's words, but I do feel like this is very important to be involved, to be attentive, and to be in line with what is right. Because as the world around us keeps turning day in and day out, as human beings on this planet in the United States of America, we all have a responsibility. Those of us who are 18 years of age and older, we all have a responsibility. It is your choice how this goes for us. I'm hearing that over this year alone, we have gotten some of the biggest voting block of young voters this year. A lot of individual kids are turning 18. That's a very, very pivotal age, especially stepping into the big stage of civics and politics. Because as we don't want to talk about too much of it, we don't want to act like we want to know much about it, or we only know what we want to know when we want to know it. It's imperative that if you're going to be a part of the voting crew, please, please pay attention to the people on your poll. Pay attention to your local ballot. Understand the people around you, the elected officials that want to represent you. They need that ballot that you're putting in that box to have their name checked off on it. But what are they doing for you? What have they done for your community? What are they doing? What are their points? Make sure you know all of these things before you check off a name. Trust me, every person's name that seems familiar, oh, I've seen that person, I heard that name before. If you don't know, don't do it. And in this day and age, we have a large list of, these elected officials who think that by gaining a popular vote through a lie is the way to go. And this is literally the thing that we have to be aware of. That's why it's up to us to pay attention to what these people are doing behind these closed door meetings, why they are so anxious to get into these elected offices. You do have to realize this, because that is a source of power that they use to manipulate the words that we give them to speak to the people, meaning their constituents or colleagues, as they like to call them. But y'all know what it is. Tonight, we were going into a conversation about women's, and we wanted to talk to you about what National Women's Month means to you. Any of you on the recap catching up with this, again, I apologize for being so late today, but I do appreciate you if you have viewed this, and if you are viewing this right now, I appreciate all of you for that. But I also want you to do me a solid. After this video goes up, please feel free to drop me a comment in the comment section, share this out to some friends, and tell me what you think about this conversation. It's something that's been on my brain, and I've just been wanting to talk about something outside of that, and it affects not just the women in our world, but everyone. So I appreciate all of you guys for taking the time to tune in and listen. And I just want you guys to know that tomorrow, New Wave Music Wednesday, as soon as I get home, if I get home on time, please don't get me twisted. I know, like, the last week or so, it's been crazy. So I'm not gonna bank on it, but I'm hoping that I get home in a decent time so I can start the show. I just want to see some new music. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate y'all for being a part of our show tonight, tuning in with us and being here for what we have to say. Happy National Women's Month. We're going to keep this thing going. Hopefully next week we'll have a nice little conversation on Tuesday for you. Tap in with us tomorrow for New Wave Music Wednesday, and you know how we do with that. Get your music up, send it in, let us have it. Let's go. Peasy Show. We out of here tonight.
Face. Oh.